Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flourish. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time it's Manchester City 3, Fulham nil. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flurry. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time is Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flurry. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time is Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flurry. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time is Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flurry. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time is Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Half-time at the Etihad, and Manchester City are 3 goals to the good against Fulham. It's been a dominating performance for the citizens. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, goals came in a flurry. Semenyo opened the scoring just after the 25th minute mark. Then within 6 minutes, on a lovely swift counter, he set up Nico O'Reilly for a lovely chip over the unrushing Leno, and then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the hat. Lovely driven load strike from the Norwegian forward, as at half-time is Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. And it's a warm welcome back to second half coverage of independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from the Etihad as Manchester City host Fulham. And at the moment, it's the citizens who are running away with it. It's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. What a first half it was for Pep Guardiola's side. Here they come early on. Nori ball into the box. It's blocked away by Bassi. Sessegnon tries to clear his lines even further. Nunes is going to press high and put some pressure on the former Spurs at the left back. It falls for Iwobi. He's going to drive forward. Plays it into Sander Berg. Forward to Chukwueze. This is better from Fulham. They could do is spreading the play to the right. Iwobi does just that to Wilson. Lovely ball, lovely first touch. Fulham need to respond after that disappointing second half of the first half display. But it was a good opening 25 minutes, I'd say, for Fulham, but Semenyo scored in the 25th minute. I'll bring you an update on that in a moment. It's here come Fulham. Smith Rowe with a strike at goal. Was that a save by Donnarumma? It's heading to side netting, but I'm not sure if the Italian got a touch with the big palms that the former AC Milan man has. Was caught from City for a moment there. Smith Rowe pounced upon it. Yeah, gets a save by the Italian corner coming up for Fulham. But as I say, Semenyo scored, and 6 minutes later he set up Nico O'Reilly. Then of course Erling Haaland had to get in on the act, but he has come off at half time. Haaland off, Marmoush on. That's the only change between the two sides. I'll bring you the lineups in a moment, and I'll present my co-coms in just a moment as well. Fulham's corner comes in. Donnarumma punches it away. Falls for Chukwueze, completely whiffs at it. Keeps it alive though. Still in the penalty area. Back it goes for Bassi. He unleashes a strike on his right boot. Still in the penalty area. City get to clear their lines, and they do win a free kick. The man who's just come on, Marmoush, winning a free kick for Manchester City there, and they can just rest and relax. All the work will get us back on. But it's myself, Lewis Raftery, joined by Joseph Pearson, to take you through all the coverage of second half independent off-tube studio commentary of Manchester City against Fulham. And Joe, we were just watching at half-time. Fulham Burnley score 3 goals in quick successions after being 2 goals down. Fulham need something like that, but do they need to maybe take this second half bit by bit, maybe get a goal before the hour mark, and then maybe push for a second and kind of take it in bits, or is the game gone?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Fulham, they've gained 10 points from losing positions, and Manchester City, I mean, both teams have lost 11 from winning positions. So for me, they've got to get back into the game, because they did end it quite well. They ended it with quite a lot of chances coming in for them. They couldn't quite put them away. They had a massive one with Smith Rowe, which would have just been perfect to get them going for the second half. It's not worked out in the end. They've just got to keep the pressure on this City side. They've got to not make sure to fall off. And now we can see it more on his left-hand side, that Chukwueze, he was playing more on the right within the first half, has now moved back over to his left-hand side. I would have maybe liked to see him more onto the right-hand side, but we were discussing it. They weren't using him on that right-hand side. It was really weird. They'd put him on there to go against Ryan Atnari, but they weren't using him. And for me, that was a bit maybe of a key issue for them, that they weren't using Chukwueze on this right-hand side and were trying other options instead. But also, like we said, drop Raul Jimenez back. He's created some of the chances for this Fulham side to try and get onto the score sheet. Have him drop off, have him then hold up possession of the ball.
Yeah, I think they did it twice, didn't they? And I think it worked quite well for Fulham. And they haven't done it that many times. Of course, that's more maybe credit to City as well, if I'm being honest, that they've done very well to hold off as well in the game. They do have the ball with Gahey at the back. So quickly then, the lineups. It's Donnarumma in goal for City. A back four of Núñez, Diaz, Gahey and Nori. Looks to be a double pivot of Rodri and a yellow card of Bernardo Silva, with the goal scorer of City's second equal Riley and Phil Foden, who joins Semenyo and now Marmoush leading line. As I say, it seems to be quite a 4-2-2 for City. Foden pokes the ball forward. Semenyo's going to try to get on the end of it, but he does. Poor defending from Fulham. The miscommunication, they were all over the place there. Both Bassi and Sessegnon, because I believe it was Núñez was offside, and they slowed down because the ball's ours, and Semenyo got there, defended well by Bassi, the Nigerian, in the end, but nearly was a bit of a mess. Quickly then for Fulham, it's Leno in goal, back four of Tete, yellow carded skipper Anderson, Bassi and Sessegnon. Sander Berg is partnered by Iwobi in the middle, and it's Wilson, Smith Rowe and Chukwueze who support Jimenez, who leads the line for Fulham. They've got a bit of possession now at the moment, just over 5 minutes into the second half. It's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Iwobi, Sandberg, they've beaten the first phase of the press well of Fulham. That's a nice pass into Smith Rowe. Chukwueze down the left-hand side. Jimenez trying to make a run into the middle. It does. It's a poor touch from Gahey. Foden comes back to help his England international teammate out there. Núñez tries to flick it over the head of Sessegnon. Can't come away with the ball, and the Cottagers still have it with Chukwueze. Back to Iwobi. Looking for options. He's got... plays it into Sandberg. He's got Raul Jimenez in the middle. Tete. But it's a better start to the second half, as Joe said, from Fulham. But well, they need that, don't they? There was a poor, probably 25 to 40 minutes, 15-minute gap there for Fulham, where they really struggled and conceded all 3 goals. But they did at the end just have a little bit of a fight back. They've still got the ball inside the City half with Iwobi. You would say, I'm not saying Haaland's no slow coach, but City are not going to sit in deep and look at it on the counter all second half. They want to get on the ball, but the pace of Marmoush and Semenyo on a counter attack will be terrifying for anyone.
Oh yeah, indeed, and that's where some of their goals came from, was counter attack play, and that's where you need Semenyo, that's where you need your Marmoush. Just set them off running. But on the other side, it's what Fulham maybe should have done as well, and you could see them do it for the first 15 minutes or so. They tried something out, which was try to get Chukwueze down to his left-hand side. Didn't work out in the end. They found passes cut out, and that's just because their midfield was dropping off a little bit. They were playing as defenders and holding midfielders. I'd like to see Iwobi get higher up the field, which is what he's doing in the second half. It gives them more of an option then. It gives them that passing option. And as well, if they get that ball then in defence, it's a quick turnaround. Pass it into Iwobi. He sets off Raul Jimenez, and it's a continuous chain of just passing it around Manchester City.
City still have some defending to do here with Harry Wilson on the ball. Pokes it to Smith Rowe into Iwobi. Again, it's much better from Fulham, but City keeping them at bay for the moment. Ball into the box. Chukwueze looking for Jimenez. Just gets underneath it. Nori defended it well. It will go wide for a goal kick for the 3-0 leaders. But again, they're just more positive, isn't it? And I think the only problem is, again, maybe because City are 3-0 up, that just that little bit of drop of concentration. If this is when it's 0-0, you're thinking they're going, oh, this is impressive from Fulham, they're pushing, but... Yeah. And again, anything can happen in football, as I've already said, we'll sort it out half-time with Burnley, anything can happen. But when you are 3-0 down, you must go, there's so much we've got to get right without getting wrong in the second half. it's such an upper. Even if it's 1-0, you go, right, just one big chance, or we need 3-0. It's such a big battle to get back from.
It is indeed. It's a very tough battle against a very strong Manchester City side. They've got a very strong defence with Gay and Ruben Diaz. It's very hard to break down. And for me, though, what I'm noticing at the moment is Raul Jimenez is dropping onto his right-hand side. But Atner is staying so with him. And he's all the time staying with his opponent. He's tracking him very, very well. He lost Raul Jimenez for a second or so. And he checked over his shoulder, his left shoulder, before that ball even came in. And he knew where Raul Jimenez was. He knew he could beat him in the air for that header. And it's just those simple things from Manchester City. It's just those second glances and just staying tight to their team as well. Sessegnon wasn't doing that down the left-hand side, and neither was TT as well on the right. And for me, that's what caused some of the goals for Fulham.
And some of the big chances they didn't really put away as well.
Yeah.
So it was just runs in behind and not tracking your man, which you pointed out in the first half, which you are right, Chukwueze is an attacker, not a defender, but then you also pointed out, but that's just the simple things of football. Yeah, you might be a winger, but you've got to get back and you've got to help your fullback. So they're going to make another, I'd say, quick fire change for the second half. We're just about to hit the 54th minute on the clock, and Tiny Reinders is going to be coming on. So whether Pep wants maybe more legs in midfield, more physicality, I don't think he'll take Bernardo Silva or Rodri off, unless it is Rodri for fitness-related reasons. Again, I know City have been under the cosh a bit more in this second half, that's more due to Fulham, but just looking at who you would take off, that's a poor touch from Nunes, who do you think it would be?
Maybe Atnari. And just put Nico O'Reilly on that left-back spot and have that three, Bernardo Silva, Reinders and Rodri in there. Reinders does give more of that attacking option as well, and so does Bernardo Silva. But it's what Pep really wants to go towards, because if you keep Atnari on, you've got Nico O'Reilly and Rodri in those holding positions, and Bernardo Silva's just got that free will. If you take Atnari off, you've only then left yourself really with one kind of holding midfielder with Rodri. That could cause some injuries, because obviously he is coming back maybe from a little bit of an injury and isn't maybe exactly up to full fitness as of yet.
Yeah, we're still waiting. Reinders is ready to go. We're still waiting though. City are coming forward with Nunes. It's a poor pass to Silva, but it finds its way to Rodri. To the left-hand side to Nora. Just over 10 minutes played in this second half. It's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. City now they're starting to get on the ball then. And just pop it around, if you will, making it hard work for Fulham to get on the ball. Elsewhere, scores, of course, it's currently unfortunate 0-0 between Aston Villa and Brighton. Our colleagues have said that's been an unfortunately terrible game. Hopefully it's better for them in the second half. Forest and Wolves is also goalless. But the big game, if you will, that was delayed at Selhurst Park by 10 minutes that we spoke about, is Palace 2, 3 for Burnley. It was 2-0 for Palace. Well, it was 2-1 when we went off the air.
Yeah,
coming into with the just score, didn't they? Did Burnley? Joe pointed that out to me. And then by the time we went and got a beverage, we turned around and watched. Was looking at the feed, and it was 3-2 to Burnley. So what a turnaround that was! It's still 3-2 to Scott Parker's side, and they look far away from it. But 3 points this evening. I mean, it could be massive but all points for Burnley are massive, but what a 3 points it could be. Elsewhere in the Championship, a 7:45 PM kickoff. Charlton and Stoke is currently goalless. That's another game you can catch on this service. Here come Fulham though, with Harry Wilson on the edge of the area. What a tackle from behind there from Nori, and he gets the praise as if he scored a goal. And Gahey did well also to track the runner. I think it was poor touch from Ridgeby, he did well to track his runner. And again, for me, that's something that... So, Nori's not had the greatest of first seasons at Manchester City.
No.
Not many people do. But to me, it's little things like that. You do that, then your teammates rile you up. It's almost a little bit of welcome to the team. You're doing what we need you to do, and that was great from the fullback. Yeah,
it's confidence as well, and it's a brilliant challenge there. Harry Wilson there took a very heavy touch and didn't quite have the pace either to try and beat the men. It was a lovely ball through, maybe a little bit too late to try and see it from Smith Rowe, because I think he was in two minds of whether does he use that as maybe of a decoy with Harry Wilson, that he's going to pass it through. That creates the space for a shot then on the edge of the box, but the better option I think was for Harry Wilson, but then it was timed a little bit too late. Maybe that's where you want a faster player on the ball as well, a Chukwueze and Oscar Bob maybe. I don't know, it's it's one of them chances.
Ball on the left-hand side with Marmouche. First time he's got an opportunity to run. And his man on the left-hand side cuts inside. Heavy touch there. Fall to Foden. Strike at goal. Saved well. But with how he struck it, and again, as you spoke about many times, it's a slick surface this evening. It was quite like Haaland's goal, if you will. He tried to low drive it into the bottom corner, but he just didn't maybe get as much pace and power on it, and it was saved well in the end. I'll bring Joe in a second. City have won it high up the field here, but they will slow it down. Anyway, I just think at this moment, City, they probably want to not get to the 70th, 75th minute. Not as in like, oh, we just want to, whatever we do. They probably just want to maybe, if they can get another goal, they'd be over the moon. Marmoush gets another goal, Semenyo gets another goal, Nori gets a goal, I don't know who, but it's probably, as long as they haven't conceded by the 75th minute, I think that's when the confidence of popping it around will come from. I will bring Joe in again in a moment, because here come Fulham. Raul Jimenez plays a poor pass to Smith Rowe. Wilson was the pass on the right hand side into Chukwueze, slows it down, he somehow gets it through to Sandberg, lovely ball, but the attack, it's all of the intensity and tempo's gone. Fulham still have the ball though. Tete on the right hand side swings across in. It's a poor one. Chukwueze does his best to try and get there. It's going to trickle nearly out of play. Wobie does well, but Mamouche was even better to win the throw-in for his side. And you pointed out from a mile away, Joe, Jimenez has to play that to Wilson.
Yeah, he does, and for me there, yet again, it's just a little bit sloppy from Fulham. Jimenez didn't get his head up quite as quickly. He looked towards that left-hand side instead for Chukwueze. Totally wrong option, but we're now seeing changes for Fulham. They're bringing on 3 changes. Manchester City bringing on 2. They're bringing off Bernardo Silva in replace of Reinders, and Nunes actually is coming off, and he will be replaced by Kusanov.
I can imagine Kusanov, he's played right back a few times for City, so I can imagine that's both like flagging. Maybe Reinders just more legs in the middle than Bernardo Silva. He played all the minutes at the weekend, of course, didn't he, against Liverpool as well. That's a game that takes a lot out of you. And look, you're 3-0 up, so maybe this is Pep just trying to get his players wrapped in cotton wool as well, to a degree. We're waiting for the free change Fulham, but as Joe said, it's Nunes and Silva that are off, Kusanov and Reinders that are on, so it looks like Kusanov will go to right back. Reinders, of course, probably just sits in the middle for Fulham. Definitely can see Rodrigo Muniz is coming on, so we'll have to see how they have gone though with their changes. So it's Smith Rowe, Chukwueze and Jimenez that are off. I can see it's Josh King, Kevin and Muniz on, so it's 3 substitutions, but they are just like for like. For example, he hasn't thrown Muniz and Jimenez on, so it's a 2 up top. It's 3 changes, all fresh legs, all fresh ideas, but there's going to be no change or tweaks in tactics, really.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I would have probably taken off Harry Wilson, kept Chukwueze on. You've got the pace then of Kevin and Chukwueze. That is a dangerous amount of pace on the field, especially out on the right wingers, when you know Kusanov's just come on that right back spot. He can play it, but he is a little bit slow because of his more centre-back type of build and the more centre-back attributes that he has. If you put him up against Chukwueze or the likes of Kevin, it could be a little bit of a dangerous situation for him.
I will say, and I do really like Josh King, I will be honest, and I think they're about Chukwueze. I'd have probably, I know I'm not Marco Silva, I'd have probably thrown Muniz on with Jimenez to play 2 up top for a few moments, try and get 2 up top, and as you said, put a bit of pressure on City's backline and have kept Chukwueze on for that pace as well, and then maybe you go, right, the 2 up top's not working, let's bring Josh King on. I'm saying that Josh King, he's an attacking midfielder, he's a striker, isn't he? So 3 changes. Kevin, he's covered the game against Manchester United, a world-class strike, curling effort into the top corner. What a way to get your first goal for Fulham in the Premier League, but this is a very tough task. Again, I felt if in that game, if United would have gone 3-0 up, that would have been awkward for Fulham to come back. Likewise, as City have made it 3 goals to 0. They're coming forward though, and the Cottagers with Kevin down the left, ball into Muniz. Can't find him. And it's a poor pass in the end, and Marco Silva, I think that's the only problem. I think his side plays some good football. I like the ideas he likes to do, but he's not a manager. For example, I know it was 1-0, not 3-0. Last night, Michael Carrick just kind of kept throwing attacking players on until they've got to go, right, defender off, striker on. And you know what, if you don't win or you don't draw, fair enough, but we tried. Whereas Fulham, it is always 4-2-3-1. That is what we do, and we just take a striker off for a striker, we take a winger off for a winger. I think his problem is his main tactic and how he likes to play is fantastic, but there's really no backup plan. You could probably from a mile away If we probably looked at those substitutions from Marco Silva, we could have probably said, yeah, that's who he's going to bring on.
Yeah, indeed. And for me, maybe you bring off Alex Iwobi and you bring on maybe the likes of Josh King. Then you've got Smith Rowe in there as well. Bring off Harry Wilson. Keep on, Chukwueze. But like you said, Raul Jimenez. Maybe you do a two up front as well, and you bring off Alex Iwobi for Muniz, or you bring off Berg for Muniz as well. But he's kept the two in midfield as well, and they're getting overrun a little bit. They've got to have a fresh legs in midfield as well.
That's right. I mean, City are City, so this isn't. Maybe if Wolves were unfortunately overrunning Fulham, you'd be a little bit worried. So this is a little bit. I think I'm having a go at them a little bit, but also it is one of the best teams in the world that they are facing right now. But City just knocking it around one touch here. It's lovely to watch. But again, as you say, because you are right, although City are playing a two in midfield with Rodri and it looks like Nico Riley now, both. Reinders and Foden are further forward, but they also drop deep, so they're always. It's one of them where if we don't need the numbers, you push up top, the two up top, or one does. If we need the numbers, you can drop back. And at the moment, I think Fulham have just struggled to adapt to City's formation and patterns of movement.
Yeah, I think they have, and for me, I've said it in the first half. They've not had a midfield Fulham tonight. They've really not had a midfield, and that has been the crucial element for it. Because Iwobi and Berg have been doing their defensive duties. They haven't managed to get up the field as much as possibly they would have liked to, because they've been doing this. And for me, that's where it stemmed from, is because they've not had that sort of midfield. They've been relying on Smith Rowe to try and get back. They've been relying on Chukwueze. They've been relying on Harry Wilson. Who does that leave? Raul Jimenez. Well, he doesn't have the pace to try and beat these defenders, does he? He needs Harry Wilson. He needs Chukwueze. He needs Smith Rowe there as a little bit of that additional support. And he just hasn't got it tonight for Raul Jimenez for whatever reason. He has done well as well, holding up possession of the ball. He's waited nicely for his attackers, but yet again, that slowed play down. Manchester City then managing just to get back in numbers and really force it off. Manchester City changes, Kusanov, Reinders and Marmouche. He's just saving his best players for Salford.
Yeah, he's got to have that in the back of his mind, of course, hasn't he? He wants to advance in the FA Cup. He wants the strongest 11 he can ahead of that tie. Of course, that's at the weekend as well. FA Cup fourth round coming up. Looking forward to a lot of those games over the coming weekend. A couple of teams look at the likes of Spurs. Of course, they've just sacked Thomas Frank and Manchester United. I already mentioned them earlier. They've got a long time to sit on those games they had last night without FA Cup football at the weekend. Cecil Young tries to come out from the back. Actually, it's Bassey, apologies. Foden will get a yellow card as well. Lazy leg left out there. It's a foul. Yellow card's a little bit harsh for me, unless he maybe rakes him from the back. Ooh, yeah, he does. I will say, look to me. What I will say to me, that's quite. It's not malicious from Foden. I just say it's quite lazy. You're sticking that leg out and then you just drag your studs down. It's a nasty one.
Yeah, and he's somewhat very fortunate as well, because I know we saw it. I think it was Manchester United's game where the player rolled over the ball and then put studs up into the ankle of the player, Romero. If maybe if Foden had gone a little bit higher up there, it could have possibly been a red, because nowadays, if you do put your studs up into anybody, it is possibly a red card.
I won't lie, I think what you spot on there is I'm surprised they haven't reviewed it. That's something I'm quite surprised at. Whether they just say, it's a yellow card, correct decision, I'm actually surprised they haven't reviewed that, as you bring up about VAR there. But nevertheless, it's a yellow card for Phil Foden, so he might be a player that Pep Guardiola wants to get off the field in a few moments, just to make sure he's going to play not on a yellow card. Here come Fulham though with Harry Wilson. Joachim Anderson sprays it out to Tete on the right hand side. Joshua King hasn't had many touches. Ball into the box is blocked away off of Gahey, out for a corner. We've played well over an hour, 67 minutes approaching. It's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Goals in the first half from Semenyo, O'Reilly and Haaland. The difference maker here. We'll see this corner out, then I'll bring in Joe to see out the rest of the second half. Delivery's got to be good here though. Of course, you've lost the likes of Jimenez, but Muniz is a very good header of the ball. You've got Anderson, Tete, Bassey. You've got good options. Delivery swung into the back post. It's in for Bassey. He's battling away with Semenyo. That just shows how strong Semenyo is, because he's shoved Bassey off the ball. They're still battling away. The defender for Fulham and Semenyo does well to win that throw in there. on the right hand side for City. He gets high fives from his teammates, and again, I think it's that welcoming thing, isn't it? To me, a little bit of just I know they're going to be training and talking and off the field, going, and having group meetings and getting to new signings. And I'm not saying they're not, but it's like you said about it. No, it's that confidence. I know Semenyo's scoring, but then as a teammate, you go, look, yeah, you're getting stuck in, you're helping us, you're a new signing. It's just that little bit of thing for me that goes a long way with new signings.
Yeah, it is, and for me there, Bassett, he's poor because he's been, he's a big presence as a defender, and he's been shoved off by Semenyo, who, I know he is strong. Don't get me wrong, but for me there, he's got to hold his own. He has got to do better in that sort of position. We're seeing 2 more changes. Shirky, it looks like, will be coming onto the field as well. I wonder if that is in replace of maybe Phil Foden or maybe Semenyo, maybe keeping Semenyo. But for me as well tonight, I've got to say, in looking at his Manchester City squad, Matt Gay, I've talked about he fit into the system so nicely when I watched him on his debut. And tonight, yet again, he just looks, he's just a physical presence. He's a brilliant player to watch as well.
Yeah, I think Liverpool are a fantastic side. I'm not saying that. I think him and Van Dijk would be
a dangerous partnership.
What a partnership that would be. But you are right, he's slotted into this side seamlessly. Forward come Fulham with Kevin on the left-hand side. Ball is put into the box. Muniz chests it down, puts it back into an area. It's saved away by Donnarumma, and Reinders just clears his lines. Up to Semenyo. Now Rodri plays it, looking for the run of man, which I think if he goes a bit more centrally, makes a more narrow, diagonal run, there's an opportunity there. Fulham will still come forward. As Joe said, looked like there were substitutions of Gonzalez and Shirky ready to come on for City in just a moment. And Gehi again just holds off Muniz, lets it trickle into Donnarumma. And I think what shows again for me, if you can fit into a Pep Guardiola system seamlessly, he could have gone to Liverpool, he could have gone to Arsenal, he could have gone Manchester United, he could have gone abroad. But I also think, right, what's the best pick of the bunch? I think Manchester City's going to be right up there. Yeah,
he is, and he's going to work well with Ruben Diaz. Kusanov, he's only just coming into the side, really. He's still getting used to the way they play. John Stones has been injured for a lot of this season as well, so they have needed that defender, and I think as well Matt Gay is just the perfect option because he can get the ball, and I saw his debut is he can get the ball and he can just quickly ping one over the top, and that sets off the players then to run, especially down the left and the right hand side. And yeah, it's just really nice. Looking back, we just saw a replay of the chance for Muniz. For me there, Harry Wilson's got to get a shout, and I think he does shout for it as well. He seems to really call for the ball, and Muniz just doesn't listen to him. And Harry Wilson there, better position. He's right in front of the goalkeeper as well. Plenty of space, but we will now see the changes coming for Manchester City.
Rodri and Foden, you spoke about Foden coming off. That yellow I assume it might have even been a Semenyo, but with Foden picking up that yellow card, that might have made a difference, might have not. But it will be a double substitution, as Joe said. Foden and Rodri off, Nico Gonzalez, as well as Ryan Shirky are on. Looking forward to seeing Shirky for the back end of the second half. But I do say back end because we're 3/4 of the way done in this independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from the Etihad. We've just got the second half of the second half to go. It's Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Goals in the first half from Semenyo, O'Reilly and Haaland have really set this game. It hasn't been a boring second half, but it hasn't lived up to the heights of the first half, as well as say. But hopefully to bring us a little bit of late drama for the action here at the Etihad, I'll pass you over to Joe until full time.
Hey, never say never. Exactly. Fulham have been coming back, and I may be seeing a little change coming here. It does maybe look like Oscar Bob is down on that sideline ready to come on for Fulham. And I was just about to say as well to you, Lewis, is who can Fulham bring on, as a substitute? Well, you've got to look Oscar Bob and maybe Reed as well.
Oh, 100%. They're just, and as well, even if they come on, it's, I think I heard Cesc Fabregas say this in an interview. It says, as a player in the field, sometimes your substitutes can change the mentality, can't you? If you bring on, just looking at the Fulham bench, you are spot on as well, looks like Oscar was definitely coming on. If you bring on Cuenca for a midfielder, you know your manager wants you to go a bit defensive. If you're bringing on, it looks like it'll be Harry Wilson for Oscar Bob, so for Manchester City manager, you were saying gets to get some just 20 minutes or so for his new side. But as a player, you can almost go, he wants positive, he wants attacking play as my manager, he wants us to keep going at it. Whereas if Oscar Bob comes on for a defender, it's that mentality, isn't it? Just as a player on the field, you have a little bit of an inkling. If Clinker comes on for Harry Wilson, you're all right, my manager wants us to set up shop and not concede. So I think it's a good sub, and it's a good opportunity because, look, Oscar Bob can do no wrong in this game, really, unless he scores a hat-trick of own goals, really.
Yeah, and yet again, it's another like-for-like substitution. I'm still not seeing the likes of Iwobi or Burge actually being taken off of the field yet, and they do look quite tired because they've had to do that defensive duties. Yes, they've not really played the midfield role that they've been hoping for, but they've been overrunning in the defence. They've really had to kind of put on the accelerator and not really take off and not apply the brake at any point, because Manchester City have just been continuously coming at them, and you know, it's just one of them where do they make the change now? Because you can't risk them getting really tired.
No, you're right, and I think that sometimes that's up to the manager, isn't it? Because we can see it. I think Marco Silva will go, right, I need to take at least one of them off, even if you don't want to, just to save their legs. Harrison Reed, get him on for Sander Berg and just tell him, look, sit in that defence, but we're going to bring some fresh legs on, get Sander Berg to rest. Lukic is out until another couple of weeks at least with his injury, so you haven't got that like-for-like replacement. So he's on to make that change in the middle, and yeah, you're almost waiting for it, and it's not come.
The referee has just warned Teti here that he has had 4 challenges that haven't been the best, and I think the referee is warning him now that he's got one more before he's getting in the book, because he has had quite a few in this game, and I think the referee has now put the final stamp to it. He has just had a warning there for a free kick, which has been taken quickly by Manchester City on this left-hand side. They switched it from left to right. It's with Shirky, just drops it into Semenyo, rolls the ball away from Alex Iwobi, and then plays it into Nico Gonzalez onto that right-hand side. Then back for Marmoush. Shirky will now have possession of the ball, and it'll just go back all the way back towards the Manchester City defence. Reinders tries to flick it on into the path of Marmoush. Anderson's got to be careful because Marmoush is still hot on his heels, and maybe a mistake at the back here for Anderson. I think he's got a bit lucky there. They've given, I believe, an offside for Marmoush coming back from an offside position, so it will be a free kick nevertheless for Fulham, which yet again they've taken quickly. They've just passed it to Leno. They've not done anything with it there. They've not gone long upfield, and for me there, why take that so quickly?
Yeah, again, it's the little things that Fulham have done that have been a little bit disappointing, and they might come forward here with Josh King though.
Yeah, King onto Kevin then, plenty of space. He's one-on-one against Kusanov at the moment, cuts into that right foot, plays it off to Oscar Bob, who is just slightly behind him there, and then he tried to pass it back into Kevin. Shirky's straight in front of him there. For me there, Kevin, I thought he wasn't going to pass it. I thought he was going to continue that run inside the box and try the shot.
I can imagine as well, maybe Oscar Bob thought that, if I'm being quite honest, so then it's awkward for him to take it in, if you will, and I thought Kevin going for a shot that wouldn't have been bad. Looking at the next few fixtures for City, of course, you would have spoke about the massive Salford game at the weekend in the FA Cup, but it's one of them where it's massive because it's a massive banana skin, really, isn't it? Because there's such an expectation for City to win that. What was it? Did they win? Was it 10-1? The one? Was it 9-1? 10-1, I think 10-1. It was. In the last game. So I'm not saying that's your expectation, but you're also going, if they don't beat Salford 5 or 6-0, you probably sit there and go, oh, that's not a good performance. You know, a City really hitting their stride, and then they've got some big games coming up in the Premier League. But what's massive about this? I expect Arsenal to beat Brentford tomorrow. No offence, Brentford fans, if anyone's listening in, but this puts 3 points of a pressure on. So even if Arsenal, if they draw 0-0, that's now 4 points, and it's chipping away at that lead. And City have been there, done that. So they've done their job tonight in good fashion, I think. So they'll be looking forward to watching Arsenal tomorrow. Yeah,
I think it's one of them where it's so close as well. It's so close across all the leagues if you really look at it. Relegation zone and really playoffs as well in the Championship and League One. It's so close. There's about 5 points between teams that could actually go up into the Championship and into the Premier League. And we're just seeing that Atnari is down for the time being, I think with a little bit of cramp there. Oscar Bob will help back up his former teammate, back up towards his feet. And I did feel a little bit bad for Oscar Bob within this Manchester City side, because he towards, before he was sold to Fulham, he wasn't really getting any game time, and I think that's because they brought in you know, the big signings of Shirky and the big signings of Semenyo as well. I'll just hold that thought for a minute as Sessegnon heads down this left-hand side. We'll try and cross the ball in. It's cut out yet again by Gay, and it's hacked away. It's brilliant defending as well from Manchester City there.
It's top defending from Gay here. I mean, it's one of them where... what I do think, you spoke about Ruben Diaz as well, that we haven't mentioned him. I think that's because Diaz and Gay complement each other so well that Gay just does a bit more of the clearances and the sweeping up, and Diaz is... It reminds me, if I'm being perfectly honest, of a Rio Ferdinand Nemanja Vidic. Ruben Diaz is still a great ball player, but he's quite a big destroyer of a defender. Gahey's that cool, calm operator on the ball that just gets his foot in and carries the ball forward. It's a really good partnership, and then as you see, you've got Kuzanov, you've got a lot of options. I know John Stones, unfortunately, never seems to be fit. I think John Stones would be a great fit next to him as well.
Yep.
Hopefully England will be hoping for that in the summer as well. But yeah, Gahey, I mean, we've complimented him a lot, but I don't think we can compliment enough. He's had a great evening.
Yeah, we are indeed. We're going to see the change coming for Fulham then. I do believe it's the man that we have been speaking about, which is Reed, finally come onto the field, but maybe it's just a little bit too late from Marco Silva, but we'll find out. They've still got to try and claw back 3 goals here. Well, Manchester City do have a throw in which they've taken quickly. Gay manages just to get it out from underneath his feet there, does really well and play it into Reinders. Reinders will just glide across into space there, pass it out wide to Marmouche on this left hand side. It's a nice little counter attack coming here for Manchester City if they can move the ball around and try and create a little bit of space, but they've just slowed it down to walking pace at the moment. Ball back is with Nico Gonzalez, plays it on to Diaz, who plays a quick one into the path then of Nico Riley, who seems to have been now playing onto that right hand side a little bit more, and it seems that Nico Gonzalez for me is playing as a bit more of a left back really, and Atnari is kind of pushing up into that midfield spot.
Yeah, again, it's very Manchester City, isn't it, that it's also maybe trying to confuse Fulham as, again, well, if you're looking on the right hand side, Oscar Bobb's there, your man, is it Nori? Well, if he's moving into midfield, is he still my man? Do I still mark him? Am I marking Nico Gonzalez now? He's very... I can imagine if I'm Oscar Bobb, you're probably looking going, coach, who do I mark? Because you go through it, don't you? But then you might move into midfield, so then who's on the right hand side in the sense? So it is very clever, and I think when it works, like Manchester City are working right now, it works perfectly. But how many times have you seen it not work, and then there's a lot of gaps, for example, on the wings?
Yeah, indeed. Well, Manchester City come into this game having picked up 44 points from a possible 51 in their last 17 home Premier League games. And yeah, it's looking like that run will continue. They are unbeaten in their last 11 at the Etihad with 9 wins, 2 draws. Donnarumma makes a mistake here. Ooh, Oscar Bobb nearly tried to capitalise on it. Goes out for a goal kick in the end though. But as much as been saying Leno's been put under a little bit of pressure, Donnarumma was there. And nearly made the unfortunate mistake of passing it straight to Oscar Bobb. We will now see Reed coming onto the field then, and Berg will come off and Reed on in. His replacement, the man who we were speaking about to come on. It was looking like Iwobi and Berg were both getting a little bit overrun in that midfield. Just let you know to finish off that stat, only Sunderland have a longer run unbeaten at home with 12.
I mean, first of all, I'm not saying it's expected from City. I don't want to say that, but it's a great stat. But I also go, yeah, I can see that Sunderland.
Yeah.
That's more of the shocking one, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, you spoke as well about the midweek stat for at home for Manchester City. That's been nearly 16 years, as you say, 2010. So that'll continue as well. But here come Fulham wanting to at least maybe get a goal.
Yeah, tried to be laid off towards Sessegnon then from Kevin. Didn't work out, but Manchester City have just played it back into the feet of Fulham then with Bassi. Tries to get the ball rolling to Alex Iwobi, but there's no options. There's no movement at the moment from this Fulham team. They're really, really wooden at the moment. There's nobody making those overlapping runs or trying to give options. Reed is screaming for the ball on this right-hand side. He really wants it. He won't get it. It's with Anderson. Plays the ball back to Bassi. That's got to be careful here. Semenyo is right behind him. The ball is played into Iwobi. He'll play it through to Muniz, but he has lost that in possession. Does really well to try and win it back off Gay there, and the ball is won back though by Ruben Diaz in the end. Atnari's got to be careful here. He does go down under a little bit of contact there, but I don't think there's enough in that really for him and to be given for a free kick, but the referee has seen it differently.
I think as well, unfortunately, it's not. I think there's not enough in it. I agree with you. It's just one of them. It's become the norm, hasn't it? For example, it's when the ball goes over and the fullback gets in front of his winger, and the winger taps him on the back and he goes down, and the fullback gets a free kick. It's just what it is, unfortunately. For example, I don't think they're free kicks, but they're always given. They're very similar to that. And I think, as well as you say, he knew he was in danger, so the lightest touch of maybe even the wind taking him out this evening, he'd have gone down trying to get a free kick to help his side. Just to have a quick look at this second half, I think City haven't been that good, but they haven't had to be, have they, because they're 3-0 up. And I think Fulham have fought back pretty well, to be honest, just unfortunately they're 3-0 down.
Yeah, they are indeed. Oscar Bob puts in a really good challenge. Referee lets it off. Kevin drives away on this ball and has been challenged down there by Nico Gonzalez, who has been awarded a yellow card. Will complain at the referee for an earlier challenge that was given. Ruben Diaz now goes over to the referee and tries to explain the situation onto why he believes it was a free kick for Manchester City and why it has been given. But Reinders has stayed down. I think Marmoush has stayed down for the time being. Oscar Bob there, it was quite a hard challenge, but he did win the ball.
Yeah, for me that's good. That's a good tackle, and if you win the ball, as long as it's not dangerous,
yeah.
I think it's a very good tackle. And I think you're right, Nico Gonzalez, I don't know how many that is for the season, but he's always good for a yellow card, no matter how short or long he's on the field of play. Again, Guardiola's going to disagree with it, but he's got a yellow card for taboo. But for example, if that's the other way around, if that's Phil Foden on Harry Wilson earlier, he'd have gone, well, my player won the ball, so how could it be? So you can't have it both ways, but managers love to think they can.
Yeah, indeed. Reed stands over this free kick then. To me, it looks like he's going to shoot. It looks like he will try and have a pop. He will go towards that far post. He was looking for Muniz. It doesn't work out in the end. Goes straight out of play. And I mean, from that option, I would have just taken the shot.
Yeah, and he scored that wonder strike against Liverpool, didn't he? Was it for 2-2? The last minute Craven Cottage at the turn of the year or just before the new year. So he's got it in his locker. And I won't even take to play it right, but quickly take this to you, play it back to me, and I'm going to go for goal. And, go for something because, again, you are 3-0 down here. Try something, you know what I mean? And you spoke about the clean sheet as well. It's at this moment in time, 84 minutes on the clock, 3-0 down. What can you take away from Manchester City right now? It's very unlikely going to take points away from them, but you could take the clean sheet away. You could get something, couldn't you? And that will maybe just wind up Guardiola a bit. A clean sheet for taking their clean sheet away would do exactly that.
Yeah, indeed. We've just seen some images of Bernardo Silva and the Barnsley Beckenbauer John Stones having a little bit of a giggle on the side on the bench, sorry, shall I say. And for me, John Stones, he's had injuries. He's looking to get back maybe into the England squad, get into that World Cup. I have a little thought here, but Sessegnon's played it back across into the path of King. He couldn't quite get the shot away. He was saying he was being pulled inside the box by Gay, or maybe he's complaining maybe about that it will be a corner kick. We'll see it again there. No, actually, it does come back off of King. He wants the corner kick. He wasn't happy that it's gone out for a goal kick instead. But for me there, yet again, another chance. Sessegnon down this left-hand side. It's been wasted yet again by Fulham.
Yeah, you're right, wasted. And I feel a little bit for Kuzanov because I feel they're attacking him now, aren't they? And it's not his position. He's not a right back. He can play there, but you're obviously quite seeing the frailties that he has. City might come forward now. They'd love a fourth.
Yeah, indeed, played into Semenyo, tries to thread that ball through to Omar Marmoush, but it's picked up by King here. He'll cut inside that left foot, and Semenyo goes charging into the back of him. Referee has allowed advantage played, and there goes Ruben Diaz into the back of King as well. They're all lining up to try and have a shot at him here, but Kevin has managed to come away with the ball down this left-hand side. Can he beat Kusanov? It's really good defending. He gets inside the box, though. Kevin plays it in. It's cut out by Gay, then hacked away in the end by Nico Gonzalez. All the way down to Alex Iwobi, who heads it back towards Sessegnon. Iwobi will get it back, has to be careful. Shirky is right behind him. It's really good from Shirky as well. Leads it straight to Kusanov and then into Gonzalez, who's turned away nicely away from Reed there and lays it off to Shirky, who hasn't really got going really in this second half. It was brought on maybe a little bit too late, you'd say, to kind of get himself going, but he's one of them that will always bring a nice little presence. He's a very, very skillful player as well. We're hearing goals of maybe a goal at at Aston Villa in their game against Brighton. It has been pretty dull apparently, and now we're finally maybe seeing a goal after only 4 shots on target. So that just tells you about the game.
Yeah, our colleagues will tell us at half-time it wasn't the greatest of games. We haven't had the greatest second half, but we had a really fun first half, didn't we? And look, Fulham have been good in this half, but as you say, it looks like Villa are 1-0 up, but looks like we'll have another goalless draw with Forest and Wolves at half-time. Well, actually quite impressively, Sunderland are drawing goallessly with Liverpool.
Yeah, Tyrone Mings has finally broken the deadlock in that game. Just to let you know as well, in the 8:15 game, Sunderland against Liverpool, that is still 0-0 at half-time as well. And in the Championship, it is still Charlton 0, Stoke 0. But for now, the only goal without a game is Nottingham Forest against Wolves in our game with about 3 minutes left plus additional time. It is Manchester City 3, Fulham 0, and Fulham have the chance here to try and get on the score sheet. It's a poor pass through towards Sessegnon. It nearly works out for Muniz there. Gay does really, really well to defend it, and yet again, very strong physical presence. I don't think anybody's going to get past him in a Fulham shirt tonight. He's just there, man marking you every single time.
Again, I know Haaland's got a goal, Semenyo's got a goal and an assist, but I mean, to a degree, I'm hard pressed not to say my player of the match isn't Gahey, because he's been, without him, again, you could put another great centre back in, I'm not saying that. Maybe Kuzanov and Diaz. Kuzanov has a great game, or Diaz has a better game, but Gahey has stopped so many attacks in this game. He's been a man mountain as well, and I'm not saying he's small, he's not Lisandro Martinez, 5'9" small, but he's also not 6'4", 6'5". But he just seems massive, doesn't he? As a defender, he seems to play bigger than what he is. He seems to be a big 6'3", 6'4" player. And we've given him his flowers, and again, I don't think he will. It'll probably be Semenyo because of the goals and assists, but he'd be my player of the match, but he's got defending to do now. Yeah,
on to Oscar Bob on this right-hand side. Tries to get it through the legs of Gay. Yet again, there's no way you're going to get through him. But Fulham have won back possession of the ball. Manchester City letting it loose there with a loose ball by Gay. First mistake he's really made of the night. And yet again, it's there with Shirky. Tries to go on the right-hand side. It's taken away here by Kevin, and Kevin will try his luck from outside the edge of the box. It's a poor effort in the end, just sails over the crossbar. And, player of the match has gone to Mark Gay tonight then. But for me there, Kevin has got to do a lot better. I know he's seen the space open up. At least get it on target.
Yeah, and that's been the problem with him. And as I say, he scored his first goal in the Premier League for Fulham against Manchester United with that great strike. But that's been his problem because, again, I know he's a young player, but you can see, can't you, he's a great young player. The potential is there. He's a raw player. But, again, it's just you see those little things of you need to be doing better with decision-making. You spoke about it. It's not a simple thing because you're going to get stuff wrong, you're going to get stuff right. But he rarely gets it right, decision-making, doesn't he? And there's only so many times you can do it without going, it adds up, doesn't it? And that's another one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is indeed. Ball played back to Leno on the left-hand side of his box, and it's played towards Bassi. He tries to get away from Semenyo there, and Semenyo has been penalised there for a free kick. But for me there, that's been a shoulder-to-shoulder. 3 additional minutes has been put up by the 4th official. It's looking like Manchester City might be able to keep their clean sheet in this game. Then ball played through towards King. He's bundled over there by Nico Riley. The referee has played advantage though. It's on to Oscar Bob, but it's had to go back towards Anderson as well. Manchester City now aren't really pressuring this Fulham side, but I am seeing now a few mistakes towards the end of the game from Manchester City. I don't know if they're finding it a little bit too easy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think you're right in the sense of they probably think the job's done, don't they, to a degree, maybe, just trying to see it out. And that 3 minutes, we haven't had many stoppages, and we'll see in the second half. We haven't had goals, it's been substitutions, hasn't it? There's been a good flow to this game. But here comes Sessegnon driving forward as a one-man army. It's well defended in the end, though, by Kuzanov, but you're right, and I think it's almost City have gone, look, we did our job in the first half, didn't we? And then we've just defended really well in the second half. We've been really good. We've been positive, and it's job done. And it's on to the next. But this is the City that I think of that, when they hit the stride, they're not always Well, they are impressive. That first half I thought was impressive, but they're not always this hitting bang, 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 but they just win and win and win and win, and they grind out results. And even if it's 3-0, I feel it's been almost a grind out of a result.
Yeah, indeed. Nottingham Forest in their game has finished 0-0 against Wolves. Plenty of shots on target, plenty of expected goals apparently for Nottingham Forest as well, but haven't managed to capitalise on the chances that they've been given. A little bit like Fulham here today at the Etihad, just not being able to get the chances that they've wanted. I mean, coming into this game as well, both Raul Jimenez and Kevin scored in Fulham's 3-2 defeat to Manchester United at Old Trafford earlier this month. The last Cottagers player to score away at both Man United and Manchester City in the top flight season was Pat O'Connell in 1962 to 63. So from then, neither of these have actually managed to try and get going in this game. They brought off Raul Jimenez for Muniz, who actually I would have maybe liked to see Raul Jimenez stay on the pitch a little bit longer. Bring on Muniz a little bit later, but bring on Kevin alongside him. I think Harry Wilson was changed a little bit too late as well. He was starting to kind of blow a little bit of steam as Fulham have a chance here. Ball inside the box. It is passed on to King. He'll try his shot. Donnarumma, brilliant save coming in there. But yet again, King manages to try and get a shot away. And Donnarumma there, well, he doesn't really jump up onto he gets onto his tiptoes and just palms it away.
It's an easy save, but that turn from King is lovely to create the strike, isn't it? Look, it's a corner, last minute, City just trying to see this game out. This is probably the last chance of the game, and that'll be the final whistle. City 3 goals and 3 points to boot.
Yeah, indeed. Corner is in swung then. It's arrived back towards Oscar Bob. It's on the edge of the line. King tries to get it in, and it's not, and the referee has blown his full-time whistle. The both managers shake hands, but Marco Silva has lost all 3 of his Premier League games against Manchester City, the most manager to have faced, and has had a 100% losing rate against Manchester City. And in the end, it's Manchester City that have come out on top in this game. It is 3-0 to Manchester City against Fulham.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget,